Welcome to Sonix TV1, where you are number one and our guests are stars amongst stars. I am Sonix, your host, and we have an exciting show lined up for you today. Last week, we shared some insight on greatness, success, and business. If you missed episode 23, be sure to check it out. But first, later in the show, we will be welcoming music producer, musician, and music director Julian Scott Varner to the show. We'll be sharing some exciting updates, plus we have some breaking news just for you. That's right here on Sonix TV1, your new home for entertainment. Today, I invite you to join me on a journey through the heart of music, entertainment, and technology. Let's dive into the stories that shape our world. Thank you for being here. Let's make some magic together. The quote of the day: keep your face towards the sunshine and shadows will fall behind you. Keep your face always toward the sunshine and shadows will fall behind you. Author Walt Whitman. Just don't stop believing, folks. In 2022, I released my single Cloud 9. And in 2024, I released my single and music video Broadway, which was directed by our past guest, Brian Synthman Washington. Coming up, Cloud 9. Stay tuned right here. Keep it locked. That was Cloud 9, produced, written, and arranged by yours truly, with Johnny Johnson on guitar. Cloud 9, I was just writing that song. I just said, what does it feel like to be on Cloud 9? Excuse me. What does it feel like to be on Cloud 9? And that's what I came up with. I hope you enjoyed that. Coming up next, Broadway, produced, written, and arranged by yours truly. Keep it locked right here on Sonix TV1, your new home for entertainment.
This is a world premiere.
That was Broadway, produced, written, and arranged by yours truly, featuring the one and only William Prince out of Connecticut, saxophone virtuoso. If you haven't checked out his music, please be sure to do so at williamprincemusic.net. williamprincemusic.net. If you like what you've seen, you like what you heard, please subscribe and like the channel down below. Please hit that like and subscribe button, and you'll be in the know. You'll get the notifications of when we're going live, upcoming events, and also down below you can get the description about this show. And also you can reach out to us, give us your feedback. And also if you'd like to be on the show, reach out to us. We'd love to hear from you. We'd love to get your feedback. Coming up after this introduction video, we will have the one and only Julian Scott Varner with us on the show. That's right. Julian Scott Varner will be joining us after this introduction video. You don't want to miss that. Incredible brother out of New York. So coming up after this introduction video, we'll be live with Julian Scott Varner. Keep it locked right here. Your new home for entertainment, Sonix TV1.
Julian Scott Varner is a dynamic music producer, musician, and music director with over 20 years of experience in the music industry. Raised in New York City, he began playing piano at the age of 4 and quickly developed a proficiency in multiple instruments, performing at prestigious venues like Carnegie Hall. Julian's extensive music production expertise spans gospel, R&B, and contemporary music, where he has worked with top-tier artists and emerging talent alike. A graduate of Center of Media Arts, Julian has produced and engineered projects for Vectron Records, Savoy Records, and G.T.S. Records, as well as independent artists. His production credits include his own album, Julian and Friends, and notable works with legends like Melba Moore and rising stars such as Ahmad Belvin. Julian's production style blends technical proficiency with creative vision, seamlessly crafting powerful emotive soundscapes for each project. He's passionate about mentoring young artists, providing them with opportunities to grow and thrive in the industry. Julian's production studio in New Rochelle, New York, has become a hub for developing new talent in gospel, R&B, and hip-hop. Join me, Sonix TV1, in welcoming the one, the only, Julian Scott Varner.
Sonix TV1, welcome to the show. The one and only, the myth, the legend that is Julian Scott Varner. Welcome to the show, my brother. How you feeling today?
Man, I'm feeling good, sir. How are you? It's good to see you. You know, I'm excited about being here with you. It's always a pleasure spending time with you, my brother. Every time I see you, you know how we do. We just catch up and we continue the conversation like we never left it and never stopped. So here we are again.
Yes, sir.
Same thing, yeah.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. This is my brother right here. My brother from another mother, if you will. This man right here, man, he means so much to me. He doesn't even know. You know, like there's people that just bless your spirit, bless your soul. And this is one of them right here. A true gem, a true brother. And so I'm excited that we get to bring our true conversations to light today. So we're going to dive right into it today. Let's get right to it.
All right, let's go. Let's go. I'm following your lead.
So everyone that watches this show, they know we always start at the beginning of the book. So today we're going to start at the beginning of the book that is Julian Scott Varner. So where did you grow up and what was home life like for you as a child?
Wow, I grew up in Harlem, New York. Born, bred, and raised in the hood. That's where I come from. And basically, what was life like at home? Life at home was, you know, and it's interesting. While my mother played the piano and my dad, you know, was pastor, associate pastor, preacher in the church, you know, life at home really, I have to say this, it really wasn't musical, to be honest with you. It's not like my mother had favorite records to play. Or my father had his favorite music to play. It's kind of interesting when I think back about it, and I've kind of rehearsed this, sharing it with some others just in terms of the journey. And it's funny, I've been rehearsing that quite a bit lately. What's the journey been like, and thinking back over things. And it was a blessed time, a blessed, you know, home with all regard to what we understand as being blessed is about. But it really wasn't something that was pushed musically. It was just something that kind of it was in the air. I didn't know my musical identity or even what my passion was until much later on in coming up, so that's how it began. That's how we began. Where it went after that, well, I just knew that somebody started me playing the piano around the age of 4. And so I was taking lessons, and being young, we had perfect pitch or whatever. And, I was thought to be a child prodigy and all of those kind of things, world-renowned Arminta Adams was my teacher. And, she's a professional all the way around. You can look her up. So it was interesting. And then so I started also in junior high school playing the French horn, actually. Through junior high school and high school, I played the French horn for about 7 to 8 years, and also in an all-state citywide and band orchestra. Picked up the trombone, picked up the trumpet as a result of the fingering being the same on the French horn. And that was the journey, that was the journey coming up.
So it's a wonderful thing that somebody will see something in a child that maybe the child doesn't even recognize themselves at that age, but someone had the wherewithal. Was that your mother, your father, to start giving you piano lessons? Who was the first person to direct you that way? Do you remember, or do you don't know?
Well, I thought it was my mother, but my oldest sister corrected me not too long ago, because she worked, I believe, at the school where Arminta Adams was the teacher. And then because I don't remember, I was 4. What do I remember? I just knew I was playing the piano. So I just, all these years, she reminded me, or she told me that, it was because of her introduction, actually. So shout out to my oldest sister, Inez, my baby sister, Debbie, who have just actually celebrated their birthdays actually this month as well. So, happy birthday to them. Shout out sisters, big ups to you. So my sister, but my sister also sings. And then my baby sister also played the violin when she was young. I wish I could put my hand on those pictures. They are somewhere. Right. But so music kind of trickled through the family, but we didn't have that driving force, like when you watch the story with Serena and Venus and their dad behind them, or you watch the Jackson 5 and their father was behind them pushing them. I didn't have that. It was kind of like, okay, you have an ability. My dad would be play that favorite song I like. Go in there and play that song. So I would play the song, and it was the Moonlight Sonata. He liked when I played that. I didn't know direction until much later on, and after going through life, after having one foot in the street and one foot in the church, and then even losing some friends to that street life and to prison and all of those kind of things. And then I began to understand my musical gift. I didn't think I was any different. I think at the point in time, I thought music robbed me of my life, to be honest with you, because I wanted to be outside. I wanted to be outside playing with everybody else. But I thank God that I wasn't. And I thank God now, when I look back over it, I thank God that there was discipline, even if it was the music that kept me practicing so that I could, get my lessons right and go to, but that saved me from being out there in the street, because a lot of the cats that I knew got caught up or got shot or ended up dead, all of those kind of things. So here we are, we're still here and we're still continuing, so
that's a blessing. And music saved many lives. It probably saved mine as well. And I'm grateful that, God gave me those gifts and talents and that strong desire to make music,
Right.
So you started playing the piano, in the French horn. Were there any other instruments that you gravitated to?
Just as I said, the trombone, the trumpet, I picked up for a little bit because the fingering was the same as the French horn. And I played them while in school. That was pretty much about it. Never really any further than that, but the main instruments was the French horn for a while, and then the piano, and then back to the piano again, after a while. So just the piano. And then I picked up the organ as a result of beginning to play in church. I don't consider myself an organist. I have friends who are organists. There's a whole different sound. You would know what I'm talking about. Well, I know. But there's a whole.
I've heard this brother play. Don't get it twisted. This brother on the organ, on a B3, forget it. Yes, this brother. I've been in services with this brother. We played together, so I don't even want to.
Okay. I can do something with it, but man, there's a mastery about an organ and being an organist and an organ player, even for people who play. Not only just like a Hammond organ or B3, but even like the Rogers organ. That's a whole nother. Oh my God, what? That's a
pipe
whole
organ. Also, that's a different beast, a different animal.
That's a different animal.
Yeah.
So I could get on it and pick some stuff out because I know notes.
Yeah.
But that's a whole nother flavor. That's a whole nother feel.
Yeah, making it talk and making it sing, that's a whole nother thing.
Yeah, man. So I look up at some cats who know how to make that thing talk, know how to set them drawbars just right and get that flavor and that warmness out of it. I'm still working at it. I'm trying to get there.
We're all a work in progress, but don't listen to this man. He's so modest. This brother makes that organ talk. He's so modest.
I'm trying to get there.
Well, so you grew up playing in church, school. When did you start doing like outside professional gigs, like concerts and things like that nature?
Well, I learned something while I was actually in NIAC college, and I saw one of the resumes of my professor, and I realized that what was the quote unquote professional level, I have to say that I was introduced to it in church. And the reason why I say that is because we spent hours on radio, live radio. I didn't understand it then, but I understand it now, that every Sunday, whenever we went live on the radio, and we had a well-known radio personality, Van Jay, shout out to Van Jay and his family. He's since passed on, but Van Jay was the guy that we would wait for his cue and come on the air live every Sunday. And when I started counting up the hours of being on live radio, I said, hey, this was my professional introduction, and I didn't even really realize it. But that, I have to say, the Greater Refuge Temple, shout out to the Greater Refuge Temple down in Harlem, New York, 124th Street, 7th Avenue. The saying was, the church in the heart of the city with the people of the city in its heart. And we would come on the air every week. So I really would have to say that was my first introduction to professionalism. And I played, and this is probably a whole nother topic, I played when I didn't even realize there was a dime to be had. Okay, when we grew up as minstrels in the house and playing because we loved to play in church, and it wasn't because we were doing a gig. It was because it was our passion to do. But when I really calculated it and looked at it, so my first introduction on a professional level, because it was still the same responsibility. You had to show up, you had to be there on time, you had to be in rehearsals, you had to go through all of those things. So that discipline I learned early, and we played because we wanted to, And then so a real quick sidebar. So if the pastor, after we've played all morning, was already there from 10 o'clock, services at 11 o'clock, choir singing, and then, we're playing through the preacher, what it's like, and it's now 2 o'clock. As a musician, you've already played from 10 a.m. all the way to 2. And so at the Greater Refuge Temple Church, before mega and church was even in the same sentence, that's what Refuge Temple was. And the pastor would decide he wants to pray for the entire church. Ooh, you could not say, excuse me, gotta go. We sat there and played, man. We sat there and played, and so that developed a discipline that I'm grateful for till today.
There's nothing like the church development when it comes to, developing and working to develop that craft of professionalism, work ethic, knowing when to play, knowing what to play, how hard, how loud, as a musician, the temperance, setting the temperature, setting the plate so that the spirit can be ushered in. These things you learn. So then, as you out and about and you start, out into other genres of music, you start working in other genres of music, it all transcends because you have been through that training ground. Okay, boom, in rehearsals, when to play in rehearsal, when not to play in rehearsal. So, giving that respect and the space for the music director, how to follow cues, how to follow the director or whoever is in leadership. Those things, those mentorships were priceless. You couldn't even put a price on what we actually learned in just playing in church. That is a testament right there to the upbringing. So you had an advantage. I feel like you have a bit of an advantage when you come through that training ground. Come through hours and hours of development. I played from sun up to sundown on Sunday, and then revivals all week long. So I was in church 6-7 days.
The never-ending revival. We used to call it never-ending revival. It was a revival one week, a revival the following week. Somebody else was in revival the other week. So it was constant.
So when did you get into music production?
So I got into music production. This guy, his name actually is Ted Wilson. Ted Wilson was the one that introduced me to studio production. And I always loved working with groups. And I had a group and we went to this particular studio and he must have said, oh, this poor guy, he don't know what he's doing. But Ted broke it down for me because even as a pianist, I was playing all over the place. That's what I was accustomed to, not the section like from the low C or whatever to middle way, and then from here to there, the next 2 octaves, the low one to the fourth one or fifth octave is your bass notes, and then from the 5th to maybe now the 3rd octave are your piano chords. And then from the 3rd octave to the 2nd octave are your string lines, right? And then from the 2nd octave all the way up to the top would be your flutes or your melody lines, your saw patch waves, your solo lines that you do. He's the one that broke it down and taught me that. He says, man, you're playing all over the place. That was my introduction. And then, God has, I cannot do this without saying and talking about how good God has been, because I've always had access to a studio, whether it's to do my stuff or even to just be around other people. God blessed me with access to studios, and he gave me the key. Wow, this is going way back. He said, man, come when you want to. And now I see, now you got me rehearsing again. So we're not going to cry on here today. No, not tonight. because
it's all right, Bishop. It's all right,
bro. But it's all right,
Doc. It's all right.
This is us talking. So I'm talking with you. Yeah, this is us. So you already know how we do when we talk. So the thing is, when you start thinking about the connections and you start rehearsing how it started and where you began and the things in life was life and the stuff that we go through, we're still here after heartaches, after heartbreaks, after breakups, disappointments, all of those things, financial issues, problems, health concerns. And look, we still here.
We are still here. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
We still here, bro. We still here. And so the passion, and not only are we here, but we're not tainted about all of the things. It's only made us stronger. It's not made us say, man, I'm not, because I know a whole lot of people that get tainted because of the things that they go through in the music business and get turned off by the things that they've experienced, but yet we're still here pressing forward. So okay, my answer then, also was then this studio called Homeboy Studio. Well, should I have said their name? I don't know. Well, it was a long time ago. They probably not even in business no more anyway. But I went to this particular studio to book studio time, and the guy, I'm asking him to just turn up the bass on the bass channel, on one channel. I say channel 6, right? I'm asking him to turn up the bass, and he's messing around with the preamps and all this other stuff. And you know, when you're paying for studio time, time is money. A half an hour going by, that by the time he finishes, that's an hour that you got to pay for from him. And so I said, you know what? Forget that. I'm going to figure it out and learn this myself, so I could say, hey, move over. I'll do it myself. And that's what started me on my journey right there at Center for the Media Arts, to learn production, to learn doing all of the things and then was when we used to still splice tape.
Yes.
I learned how to splice tape.
Yeah, bro. That's how I grew up. You know what I mean? I grew up in like the Hip Factory, grew up in Power Station and Platinum Island and some of the biggest studios in the world, Chungking, and I was splicing tape, running the SMPTE code on the 24th track, So yeah, I know what you're talking about. When you really had to have that expertise and knowledge of what you were doing. And like you said, that hour, people don't understand how technology has changed things and made things so much simpler and time and cost effective, because one tape was $300. One tape, which only held 15 minutes of time. So you could only put probably 2 songs on that 2-inch tape, and if you're doing more than 24 channels, you would need another tape. So that one song you're working with, you would have to take that one tape, you have the master, and then you have the slave, and you had to sync them together to get your 48 tracks. But you really wouldn't have 48, you would have 46.
We telling our age now, we telling ourselves. But that and it was fascinating. It was fascinating to learn this stuff.
Yes.
It was fascinating to know it, and then so the transition because Digital Performer, remember Digital Performer?
Yes, sir.
Became a computer program that a lot of people, and this was before Pro Tools. Digital Performer was the program that a lot of people started using as well, and then it transitioned over to ADAT tapes. Remember the ADAT tapes?
But let's go back a little bit further, because I started with Notator. I started
the
Atari Notator, the first sequencer. Yes, I started with that. Before I even had that, I was learning the overdub on my dad's 2-track. He had the Army 2-track where they take it around so they can hear music. I learned that it had an aux input. So I would take 4 channels of a realistic, I'm showing my age now, Radio Shack realistic mixer, line mixer with 4 channels. I'll put that in there. I'll play 4 instruments. Boom. And then I'd overdub that and then overdub that and switch the tape around and overdub that. So that's
right.
That's how I started.
My introduction to multi-track recording was this. I had 2 cassette players.
I did that too.
You record on one, and then you play that one back, and then play the next part at the same time that the second one was recording what you did plus what you were listening to. Then you take that tape, and then you play that one back.
Yeah.
That was my introduction to multi-track recording back then, bro.
I did both. I had my dad's Army 2-track, and then on the other side I had a boom box with a tape. With a double cassette tape.
Yeah, man. Yeah.
We telling our age today, but that's all right, bro.
But you know what? Listen, I wouldn't trade it. And if someone would say, hey, would you do it all over again? What would you do different? I wouldn't do anything different. I would do everything the same way.
Well, I think that's an advantage that others don't have today, having that knowledge and expertise, because you're still going to produce a certain kind of way. When you have that knowledge, you're going to actually record a certain kind of way because you have that knowledge, and you're going to mix a certain kind of way because you are trained and have that access. So your records are going to be very different than someone who just came up in the digital era, in the digital domain. So share with us some people you have worked with. You know, this man is modest. So right now, I feel like I already know I'm gonna be pulling some teeth right now. Come on, I'm digging into my brother today.
I've been around a lot of talented people, man. I mean, to me, you know, one of the things that I would say whenever someone would come to work in the studio, and they ask that question, and they say, "Who have you worked with that's famous?" I say, "You. You're famous. Your personality. You're someone. You're a star. I'm working with you." Because a lot of people get off on that, and that's something that I never allowed to persuade me. Now, yes, I've had the privilege. I've worked with Melba Moore, legend in her own right, you know, and I was able to do a song with her, and it was a blessing to work with her, you know. I worked with you. I've worked with people, man.
Just give it up, man.
I mean,
come on, do I gotta pull up your bio right now? You know,
you can. Okay, so I did a stage play.
Is it G.T.S. Records? You know, do I gotta go there? Savoy Records.
Oh, okay, yeah. Okay.
Do I gotta keep going? Come on, brother, give it to us.
We had some fun doing those things, but I knew also, because here's my mindset. I knew I was in the learning stages and in the learning process, and so I remember going to. Working with this guy named Tommy with G.T.S. Records and Adrian Nurse, yes, with the Jenkins brothers. And I produced for them. I got connected with them when they had won. They were one of the last artists to win a record contract as the reward for the McDonald's Gospel Fest. McDonald's Gospel Fest used to give out recording contracts. And they were the last one to actually win that the year that they won. And I was able to work with them. I toured with them for a while. And then I also got a chance to write and produce for their sophomore album as well. I took it as this is my learning process. That's all I looked at it as. Still friends with them to today, you know, still connects with them from time to time, you know. So Adrian Nurse still connects with him as well. Vectron Records, you know, worked with them. And matter of fact, when I got signed to Vectron Records, I brought them other artists who got put out before me. I didn't mind. I was just happy to be there. I was just happy to be there, bro.
So he just spilled some more beans that he is an artist, you know. So
oh man, yes,
he just spilled some of the beans. He is an artist, and he has an album out. Is it Julian Scott and Friends? Is that
Julian
correct?
and Friends, yeah.
Julian and Friends,
Julian
yeah.
Friends.
So so just this brother right here is one of a kind, super humble, you know. And so, you know, just him and I just have these. We get sucked down the rabbit hole, and it just gets deep and deeper. So this man is an incredible producer, arranger, engineer. So I'm just blessed to have him today. We're going to take a short break right now. We're going to play one of his creations that he produced, I Am God, the music video. So stay tuned and keep it locked right here on Sonix TV1.
Yo, I don't understand, man. We had this all set up. You said this is one of our biggest shipments, man. I need this job. Yeah, but I was all set. Listen, I have a family to support. I need this job. So what are you telling me? What are you telling me?
World creator, I am God. Mountain mover, I am God. Valley reacher, holy teacher, I want you to realize I am God. Problem solver, hey, I am God. The way maker, I am God. Lord, most holy, I'll trust you only. I want you to realize I am God. I am God. I'm God. Full of glory and splendor. I am God. I am God. For I love you. I am God.
Hey, babe. Listen, I'm sorry. I'm sorry for the way I acted. I just have a lot on my mind. But
About this.
what's that? What's going on?
This came in now.
I can't deal with this right now, babe.
You
I
have
can't.
to take care of this. Look at it.
I can't deal. I can't.
What's going on? Look at the bill.
Babe, I got fired. I don't have a job anymore. I
What are
got
you
fired.
talking about? What do you mean you got
I got
fired?
fired.
Well, what are we gonna do about this?
I can't. I can't deal with it right now. I can't. I just can't.
What are you talking about?
Sorry.
Wait a minute.
Sorry.
Let's talk about
Sorry.
this.
I'm sorry.
Thunder rolling, I am God. Lightning flashing, I am God. Even when the winds are blowing, this I'm knowing. I want you to realize I I love you. I am God. Wade in the water. Wade in the water, children. Wade in the water. God's gonna trouble the water. Wade in the water. Wade in the water, children. Wade in the water. God's gonna trouble the water. A charge to keep I have, a charge to keep I have, a charge to keep I have, a God to glorify.
Woo! That weight in the water got me. I am God, man. Woo. I'm feeling some spirit here today. You blessed my spirit today, man. I am so grateful to have you here today, man. So it's a blessing when you're able to talk to your friends that uplift you and inspire you. This brother right here is like no other, man. And his catalog, we were talking on the break about his catalog. And this man has so much music that spans decades. So I'm trying to pull it out of him. You know, come on, brother, release it.
You're right.
It's
You're
your
right.
time, brother. It's your time. It's your time. So
You're right.
when you gonna release something new? When you gonna drop something?
I'm definitely going to drop something this year, man. You know, I was working on a couple other ideas, but I think I'm going to go back and revisit some stuff and restart some stuff. You know, it's a new season, and I know we hear that often enough. This is my season. I think every season has been our season. Every season has been necessary. In order for us to have fall, we need winter. In order for us to have winter, we need spring. In order for us to have spring, we need summer. So every season is necessary through our process. So in that, every season has been my season. I'm not just coming into the season, you know, that there's a season and a time to plant, and then there's a season and a time to reap. Right? There's a season and a time for each thing to pluck up, and then a season and a time to pull down. So I can't say that only the harvest is my season, because the time that it took for me to have to plant and put down and be in the dirt and dig, and that was my season too.
But so this is a different type of season for you.
This is a different type of season, because watch this. I wouldn't have the catalog that I have if I didn't spend all those hours when nobody was checking for me or doing anything, and spent the hours to create and come up with the ideas. I wouldn't have the catalog.
Absolutely.
Preparation plus opportunity, I heard someone say, is what equals success. So the time of preparation is just as critical, if not more critical, because now when the opportunities come, you can just run it off.
Well, it's like when you're in the dark, you know, that's the most crucial time. When you're in the dark, you preparing, like you said. I call it, you know, the downtime is way more important than the on time. You know, like I look at the on time when the lights are on and everyone is watching. You're doing all the grunt work, the dirty work, when nobody's watching. Nobody knows you up at 3 o'clock in the morning working on your music, working on your craft, developing, simmering, cooking. You know, nobody knows those
crying,
dark, yeah, on your face. Going through every emotion known to man so that you can uplift other people. And be uplifted in the process, because you preach to yourself first, you know. So, you know, like nobody sees that. They see the aftermath. They see when, okay, you just dropped a whole album. They don't know. You've been in the dirt for 3, 4, 5 years sometimes before you know, that meal is prepared. You say, okay, now that meal is fully cooked. They don't most people don't understand that. So a lot of times people think you go in the studio for 5 minutes and boom, voila, you got a gourmet meal. It doesn't work like that.
No.
It doesn't work like that. So you heard it right here on Sonix TV1. This brother promised us something fresh this year. You heard it.
Yep. You've been pushing me, so yes, I'm gonna make good on my promise, on my word, sir. For real.
Well, we're gonna get it out there.
Yeah, and it's so easy to do nowadays, so that's a whole nother story in terms of the industry and being able to release a record, whether you do it on whatever digital platform you choose. We have access to now the same platforms that every other star has access to. It's just a matter of promotions and marketing, but we can release it on the same. Your record can play right next to any star, right on their same platforms or whatever. So now it's an even playing field now.
Yes, absolutely. I feel like that's what technology has done in a lot of ways. From with the now you have some software and a computer and an interface, and now you got your $3 million studio. Like back in the day, that's what studios used to cost: $2, $3, $4, $5 million. Sometimes as much as $20, $30 million. To build a studio, and now you can be working with some of the same software that's in those studios today. So technology definitely levels that playing field, and also with distribution, you had to be signed to a record label or a distribution company in order for your records to be, like you said, side by side with some of the greats. Now you can actually release some music that day. You could platforms. You could wake up in the morning and release your song that day.
That's right.
And it'd be side by side with your favorite artist. So, technology is a wonderful thing, and so when technology changed, you embraced it. You didn't just, some of the guys I know, they actually threw in the towel when it came to technology. They said, okay, no more. I'm not gonna, learn this new platform. I'm just gonna throw in the towel and call it a day. And you embraced it. I always embrace technology and use it to the fullest. So I feel like if you don't stay abreast of technology, you will get left in the dust, and you will get left behind. So I use it as a tool myself. What DAW system are you working with? What digital?
My weapon of choice is actually Cubase.
Okay.
And so when a lot of people would jump in and switch in, and then when Pro Tools became available for the PC platform, because it wasn't for a long time, it was this Mac-based program, and then you had to buy all the separate units in order to really make the full Pro Tools system work. I think it cost at minimum $10,000 for the true Pro Tools system. And then they downsized it, and they got rid of a lot of the outboard gear and made it easy for anyone. But when a lot of cats was jumping over onto the Pro Tools platform, I said, you know what? I haven't even learned this program where I'm getting the full use out of it. I'm going to stick to this, and then maybe buy a secondary computer and then put any new software on that to become familiar. And then that's how I actually became familiar with the Mac system, because I started on the Windows program, which I still, so I'm flexible with both. I'm fluent in both Mac and PC, but my weapon of choice, and it's only because I know it, and then I know enough to know also that no matter what platform anyone works on, as long as you have access to the session files, you can bounce the file out from any program, Pro Tools, Logic, any of them, into another software, fly the session files in, and then do your mix and whatever work, whatever. So whatever works for you, master it. That became my thought process. Just master it. So I'm mastering Cubase.
So are you more software based or hardware based, or both?
Both. I still have keyboards, I still have live keyboards, but I also still use virtual instruments as well.
What is so give us your last parting words, and what is next for Julian Scott Varner?
The sky's the limit, my brother, and when I have friends and brothers like you in my corner, we just got to keep going. I burnt the boat a long time ago. There's no going back across the river. So The only movement is forward. There's no retirement. Retire from what?
No retreat. No
There's
retreat.
no retreat, man. No retreat. So we're just going to keep moving forward. I'm trying to always stay in the process of learning and keeping my ears to the ground. I believe whether or not you like a style of music, it's not about you liking the style. It's about you knowing the style, or knowing as a market what is marketing and what's marketable, so that you can stay current with sounds. I'm always studying and listening, but I'm glad to hear a lot of music is going back to some of the realness. The song that Eric Benet released on Valentine's Day, man, you got to check that out. I mean, just real, true music again, and there's so many other artists as well, gospel as well as secular, that we can appreciate, that there's no controversy. Controversy is going to come with the that's just par for the course, because bad publicity is good publicity. Just spell your name right, So some people decide to go for that route, but I want to stay true to the music. And I always tell people, when I am working with artists, I say, look, let the industry do what the industry does. Just do a great song. Just do a great song first, and the industry will industry. Understand? So. But what's next is to keep creating. I'm working on some stuff now. I got stuff back there behind me. You see, it's not up there for no reason, just for show. It's some work. I was working earlier. So yes, we're going to keep pushing, my brother. I thank you for always pushing me. I thank you for always encouraging me as well. And you told me something that's very important, and I share it with other people. It's time to make yourself a priority. Sometimes you got to become selfish when it's time to really push what you do, because when you keep putting other people in front of you, you won't accomplish what it is that you have the ability to do. So you're teaching. I'm learning from you constantly as well, my brother. I appreciate you much, man.
Always, man. We actually encourage each other, uplift each other. Every time we talk, even if we don't talk, we get a message from each other, uplifting each other, an encouraging word. It's such an amazing thing to have a true brother in your corner that's, that can uplift your spirits and encourage you. So when I say we are releasing new music, I mean, I am going to be pushing this brother to do what he does. That's when I mean we, because I will always have your back and push you, and encourage you, because you have such a special gift, a special voice that needs to be heard today in this climate. So imperative. So please check this brother out. Thank you so much for joining us today. Julian Scott Varner, we are grateful for you to be in here, my brother. Grateful to have you. So we thank
and
you
we
for
didn't even scratch the surface, to be honest with you.
Oh yeah, for sure. That means there's going to be a part 2.
There's got to be, because we got to go deep. We didn't even go deep today. We didn't.
This was a mild one, but we definitely going to do a part 2. And next time we come, I hope he'll be releasing his new single. We'll have him here to release the new single.
Yes,
for
sir.
sure.
Yes.
So thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you, my brother.
Blessings. And you can find more about Julian Scott Varner on his website. And you can find him on Julian Scott Varner at _key_entertainment on social media platforms. You can find him on Facebook. You can find him on Instagram. Julian Scott Varner at _key_entertainment. And also, if you like what you've seen today, we're grateful to have him today. It's been such an amazing day to be able to spend it with your friends, your brother from another mother. It's just that wonderful time today. So I am encouraged. And if you like what you've seen today, please visit my website, sonixmusic.net, SONIX music.net. And you can find out more about my history. You can find out about my music. And also, if you like the merchandise that I have on today, you can find that at my store, sonicmusic.net /store. Also, sonixmusic.net /store. If you like what you're seeing, we're grateful for you being here today. Subscribe, like the channel down below, please. subscribe, and like the channel down below. You get the notifications of when we go live, and you'll be abreast, and then you'll be able to know of when we're going live and upcoming events. Also, the descriptions are down below, and also how to reach out to us. We're so glad that you're here today. We're so glad that you spend your time with us today with Julian Scott Varner. And ladies and gentlemen, that's our show. Thank you everyone for joining us today on Sonix TV1, where you are number one and our guests are stars among stars. I greatly appreciate you spending your time with us today, and I hope you enjoyed the show. Be inspired, be uplifted, be entertained. Be inspired, be uplifted, be entertained. I am Sonix, your host, and I'll see you next time right here on Sonix TV1. God bless.